All right, Shalom, Yasha Allah. Peace, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kodash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule around has started as truth. And also peace and salutation to those who elect out here laboring in truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth, understanding and the better of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kodash. This is your brother Karab here from the GMS Boston camp. I just want to touch on a quick lesson in Ottawa Watches out, which means the Lord's doing this lesson is edifying. All right, what I want to go into in this lesson is a few articles. All right, and I have the definition for apocalyptic. All right, and um, for those who aren't in the know, all right, for those in Jake's primarily, we speak unto our people, so-called Black Hispanics, Native Descendant Indians who are Israelite. All right, for those who are not in the know, all right, who don't read the Bible, who don't even consider it. All right, um, you know, as you can see that they're in the world, they're just living it up. They're just enjoying the pleasures of the world, enjoying the things that they get to do freely, right? But they're not paying attention to what's actually happening, right? And what's happening is that the Most High is increasing judgment. The Most High is starting to bring plagues even harder, all right? And eventually, what's going to lead to as this, the news media they would refer to the apocalypse or things happening on a biblical portion, right? Famines happening on a biblical portion, droughts, earthquakes, food shortages, pestilences, all these different things, right? They were referencing them to the Bible. All right. And you got to factor in why would they link it back to something that these people don't really take heed to. All right. And then if that's really happening, all right, wouldn't it get you in the right state of mind to want to know? Because, by default, it's going to affect everyone's lives, right? We live on planet Earth, all right? We live here. We have to eat. We have to utilize. We have to deal with the environment, right? We have to deal with these things, right? So once again, it's just showing you that there's a lack of knowledge and also a disconnect from Yahweh Shem Shai by our people, right? Let's grab this real quick. Hosea 4 and verse 6. All right, and it reads, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast rejected. So like seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children." You see, so when we come out and we prophesy and we say we do these lessons, and even though it may seem repetitive, there's a purpose, there's an intent behind it, right? There's a warning that has to go out, all right? There's a message that has to click in the elect, all right? And even if it don't click with everybody else, all right, who are Israelites, all right, and also for these other nations to hear their judgment, all right, guess what? The show must go on, right? But what we're here to warn you that Yahweh Shema Shah is he's about to let loose, right? And once again, the people, Esau will call it apocalyptic, Jake will call it the apocalypse, or Jake will reference it to the time of Revelation, but yet they don't want to even go into the Bible, right? So let's get what apocalyptic mean, right? And it reads, describing or prophesying the complete destruction of the world. All right. So now, once again, if you hearing somebody tell you that your house is going to get burned down, you would inquire how, who, what, when, where, why, right, and how, right? You would ask these questions, all right, because this directly affects your life, all right. But see, the difference is, you know, that things happen in the world and it goes back to normal, right? As people perceive, right? Things goes back to normal. All right, this happens on this side of the world, then they get swept under the rug, then everything goes back to normal. Somebody loses their life. That person has a little phase, the time they mourn that person, and it goes back to normal. But see, these people don't really think of it like, because it doesn't directly affect them, right? So what's gonna come and what the Lord is about to do, He's about to shake this whole thing up, right? And so much that it's everyone on planet Earth is gonna feel it, right? And that's why it also goes into, once again, describing or prophesying the complete destruction of the world. Right? If we all live here, right, you should be worried about what's going on and what's about to come. Resembling the end of the world, momentous or catastrophic. Catastrophic, momentous, Omnius, this is life and death, serious, grave, epic. All right, so if a serious situation is taking place, you don't want to take it lightly. All right, huge, earth shattering, earth shaking, world shaking. Right, and also resembling the Bible or biblical apocalypse. Right, so hey man, this is why we once again we're like news anchors, right? We're here to show our people what's going on. Now check this article out, right? Because once again, the Lord is judging this place, man. He's judging the earth, all right, which He made. And let's grab that real quick. Second Ezra 6 and verse 6, and it reads, "Then did I consider these things; they all were made through me alone, which Yahweh Shah, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other." Right. So now you understand who's doing it. All right. When you talk about weather patterns or you talking about unstable weather conditions, all right. Yeah, you can say Esau using harp or whatever the case is, but when you talk about the heat index reaches 152 degrees in the Middle East, all right, who gets credit for that? Does Esau get credit for that? Do these heathens get credit for that? All right, this is a power that has control over everything. That takes the credit. All right, the heat index. This is from endtimeheadlines.org. It says the index reached 152 degrees in Middle East, nearly at the limit for human survival, right? So you don't think those people in the Middle East is concerned? All right, they're worried, right? And also, I have another article that's going to show that it's not just only happening in the Middle East, right? It says as the northern hemisphere approaches summer peaks, it says heat is testing the limit of human survival in Earth's hottest spots and demonstrating the extremes that are increasingly possible and probable against the backdrop of accelerating global warming. In recent days, China set an all-time high of nearly 126 degrees Fahrenheit, while Death Valley hit 128 degrees, too shy of the highest reliable um, measured temperature on Earth, right? Reliably measured temperature on Earth, Slovakia. Phoenix was expected to observe a record-breaking 19th consecutive day at or above 110 degrees on Tuesday. All right, and today, right in Boston, it was 90 degrees, and it was hot, man. All right, and that's 90 degrees. All right, and sometimes you'll step outside and it's humid, right, and it's not a cool breeze to kind of like give you a break. All right. Let alone how much more like Phoenix, like Las Vegas, anywhere down south. All right. Other countries that's close into the equator. All right. Africa. All right. You see, this is how people are going to be mourning and crying for some type of help, some type of aid, some type of break. All right. They're gonna be looking for some type of mercy. All right. It says, and in the Middle East, the heat index reaches 152 degrees, nearing and surpassing levels start to be the most intense the human body can withstand. All right. So just imagine if anyone died, you know, by even enduring this type of heat, man. 152 degrees Fahrenheit, just like in the winter vortex that come through, and it states that what a couple of years ago it says that Minnesota in the Midwest was literally feeling like negative 62, 63, negative 68. Those are temperatures that you can't even be outside. You need your heat running all through the night, all through the day. You see? But once again, who gets the credit? All right, that's Yahweh Shemal Shah. And this is why I mentioned about apocalyptic scenario or situation, because once again, these are all signs that the Lord is literally visiting the world which He made. All right, these are all those signs. All right, it says such conditions are more than enough to overwhelm the body's ability to regulate its internal temperature. Expert says, and offer a glimpse of danger only expected to become more prevalent as global warming increases. Each extreme and in heat and humidity. We know these extreme temperatures are killing people right now. You see, it says as Cascade Tucholsky an assistant professor at Montana State University. Without the help of air conditioning, fan, and shade, the body only has its own cooling system to withstand heat. Somebody heat can escape through convection and radiation. It says, though that is only effective if the air temperature is lower than the body temperature. Otherwise, sweating is the only way to cool down, transferring heat from the body to the air as it turns from liquid to vapors. But that too has its limit. Sweating is only effective in cooling our bodies if it evaporates, said Larry Kinney, a professor at Pennsylvania State University who studied physiological responses to heat. It says sweat that pool on the skin or drips off represents dehydration without any cooling effect, he said. Research has shown the human body loses its ability to cool itself via sweat at 95 degrees, 35 degrees Celsius, right? On a scale known as the wet bulb global temperature, which factors in a combination of temperature, humidity, wind speed, sun angle, and cloud cover. Unlike the heat index, which rises above the air temperature based on humidity, the wet bulb globe temperature is not designed to interpret as a measure of how hot it feels outside. Okay, so look at that, right? And also, going into the next article, it kind of leans into that as well. Record heat wave sweeps through the globe, smashing records and endangering the lives of many. All right. So it just goes into the different various regions and states and countries, all right, that's that's dealing with these massive heat waves, right? I also seen another article that stated that these heat waves are also stirring up hurricanes as well because of the temperature in the ocean. All right, warming up the temperature in the ocean, which causes hurricanes. So, hey man, how about Shah's doing something, right? So let's grab this real quick. This is Revelation 16 and verse 1. As you see, the title says six bowls of wrath, right? I'm gonna start at verse 1 and 2, and I'm gonna jump straight to the point, right? It says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your way and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth, right? So once again, these judgments has happened, these pledges coming forth, but once again, it's increasing. All right, it's increasing. The Most High is not gonna let loose, or He's not gonna hold back until this place is fully consumed in His wrath, right? And eventually, that's when Yahweh Shah is gonna come and deliver His elect, right? But the Most High has to show and make His presence be known, because once again, in the world, you know, they lean more towards their own selves. All right. Once again, that pride has been one departed from his maker, right? They literally X out the Most High. They don't want nothing to do with the Most High. He doesn't get credit for anything. They don't want to follow his ways. They don't want to do anything, right? So once again, the Most High is furious, and what he's going to do is he's going to allow his indignation to be poured out upon the earth, right? And it says, and the first went and poured out his will upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast upon them which worship his image. All right. So this is going into those that have received the image, right? All right. Received the mark of the beast, right? Which is the RFID microchip, right? And it says that he caused a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast. So these people are going to receive some type of sore, all right, that's gonna jack them up, all right. And once again, that's the fraud coming upon these people, right? So let me jump down. I brought that out so you can identify that this is also a time period, right? Let's go to verse 8, and it says, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire, and the men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which had the power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. You see? So you have people who are right now being scorched, right? But guess what? As you know, the Lord is going to allow these things to intensify. You think 152 is the max, but the Lord may make it even go to 180. It may feel like 180. All right, feel like 200 degrees outside. All right, and in all of that, these people are not going to repent and give Him glory. You see. So when you see these articles, just know that the Lord is allowing, He's setting the stage for this to take place, because we understand that the mark of the beast is literally here. All right, it's not mandated yet, but it's here. It's being implemented. There's people with the chip. All right, so you got to remember that this time period it's synonymous, right? All these offenses going to take place in the proper time period, right? You see, and this is what the Most High is going to do. All right, so let's grab another one, right? This is massive swarm of grasshoppers wreak havoc in Utah, adding to dilemma of local farmers suffering from drought. All right, look at that. Massive swarm of grasshoppers has invaded Utah, Utah, causing significant damage to crops. The plague-like surge was captured by a weather radar system of the National Weather Service on the evening of June 21st, as it was heading northeast towards the Great Salt Lake. Right? I'm gonna jump down. So this is not a common thing. All right, said Chris Watson, the state entomologist managing Utah's insect and pest program at the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food. Grasshoppers themselves are common, but for them to show up on the radar detected, to my understanding, it's not very common. You see, this is not a common thing. So this is more of a thing of how about Shai doing this. Are you doing it too? Yes. All right. How about Shai doing this? All right. But hey, man, once again, this is the Lord doing this, and um, just a quick lesson. I'm gonna end it off here. I'm gonna grab one more pizza. All right. This is 2 Ezra 15:5, it says, Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Right? And how is he going to do that? By acting out on his vengeance, right? His anger upon these people. By what? Bringing through the plagues, sweeping in with these plagues, sweeping in with his wrath, all right? Destroying the land, destroying the people within the land, right? It says, Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them to dwell now. Now to dwell in the land of Egypt, which is America, which is known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with plagues and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. Right. So going back, it stated what, that this is not a common thing. This is not common. Right. So something. Let's go to the definition of common. It says occurring, found, or done often, prevalent. Right. But when you go down, let's go into the opposite. It's unusual, rare. All right, this is a rare occasion, right? A rare situation, an unusual act, right? An unusual situation. This is not normal, right? So let's go to rare. It says rare of an event, situation, or condition not occurring very often. It says infrequent, few and far between, scarce, scattered, right? So if this is a situation that happened, uh, few and far between, or not so often, you know, it has to be a power, or has to be a reason on why these things is taking place. All right, and ultimately we know by default, when you look at it, is Yahweh Shema Shah just allowing these things to happen. All right, once again because of the plagues. All right, it says everything not found in large numbers. Okay, all right, yep. So let's go in the rare. So you see, these are rare events, right? It said, they that till the ground shall mourn, for the she shall feel through the blasted and hail, and with fearful consolation. And when these grasshoppers or these locusts devouring crops, you have the farmers suffering. All right. And it says that the farmers are suffering from drought, which also comes where drought is when, let's look at the definition. Prolonged period of abnormal low rainfall leading to shortage of water, right? So it says a dry spell. So who holds back the rain? How about Chanel shot? The prolonged absence of a specific thing, a specified thing, so like thirst, all right, also goes into dry, all right. When there's a lot of sun and there's no rain, you're going to get dry land, all right. And with that, you know, your crops can't grow, and that brings forth famine. All right, let's grab one more piece. I know I said I was going to end it off there, but, you know, see this real quick. All right, Jeremiah 14:1. It says, the word of the Lord Yahweh that came to Jeremiah concerning the dearth, right? It says, drought and they pray for mercy. Judah mourneth and the gate languish, and the dates thereof languish. They are blackened to the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. The nobles have sent their little ones to the water. They came to the pits and found no water. They returned with their vessels empty. They were ashamed and confounded and covered their heads, because the ground is chapped, but there is no rain in the earth. The plowmen were ashamed, they covered their heads, right? And the crazy thing about it is, you have in the Northeast, and in certain other places where they're having 2 months of rain falling in one day, all right? A heavy amount of rain falling in these certain areas, which is flooding these areas. Vermont recently, New York City recently, all right? In other places, you have full-on drought, all right? Once again, who has control of it? Let's grab something real quick. There you go. Isaiah 55:8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And see, that's the thing. These people don't want to accept that. All right, they think they know more than Most High. All right, especially Esau Edom, especially Esau Edom. All right, they think they got to sort it out and figure it out. But once again, you know, the ways of Yahweh Shemashah is higher than our ways, right? And guess what? If you don't want to follow his ways, he's going to show you why you should follow his ways. All right? He's going to show you whether you want to accept it or not. And that's the thing. You don't want to be on the bad side of Yahweh Shemashah, because now when you're left into his hand, the scripture says that neither shall no one deliver out of his hand. All right, you're at the Lord's mercy at that point. Mercy upon you, then hey, you know, and this is why that's why it's a scary thing, and that's why you have to fear Yahweh Shemashah. But going back, it says verse 10, it says, as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, not lift the earth and make it bring forth and the sower and bread to the eater. You see, so he's even referencing his ways to the system that he has in place to do what? To feed the inhabitants of the earth, to give us our nourishments, to give us the things that we needed. The Most High is in control of that. He created that system. So in that sense, he even referenced to his word being like unto it, right? So shall my word be, so shall my word be that go forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. So that means If the Lord want to bring a blessing, if the Lord want to make sure that things work out, guess what? By default, it's going to happen that way. There's nothing you can do. But if the Lord wants wrath and destruction and judgment to take place, guess what? The same here. The same thing's going to happen. All right? It's going to go out and it's going to take and it's going to do exactly what it's meant to do, right? Let's get this real quick. There be spirits, Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury they also strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail, famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time has come, they shall not transgress his words. When you look at this, this is a command that went out. This is a command that went out. And once again, they said this is not a very common thing. All right, so this is a command that went out, and guess what? Now the effects is being the effects is taking place, right? It says, "They shall rejoice in His command; they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time has come, they shall not transgress His word." Therefore, it says, "Yep." Therefore, from the beginning I was resolved and thought upon these things and have left them in writing. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season. So this is a good thing. All right. And also this is a good thing. Why? Because once again, Yahweh Shai he's fed up. All right. This world has been engulfed in wickedness for so long that he has to now set it straight. All right. Since all the works of the Lord are good. All right. And he will give every needful thing in due season, so that a man cannot say, "This is worse than that." For in the time that they shall be, it says, for in time they shall all be well approved. Therefore, praise ye the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of the Lord Yahweh Shalom. You see, and this is why the elect is going to praise His holy name. All right, because once again, the elect is out there sighing and crying for the abomination that be done in the midst of, and they're hoping for something better. And guess what? The Lord is definitely gonna follow through, and He's gonna make things right. All right. So hey man, that's just a quick lesson. I pray and hope that this lesson is edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Shalom Shabbat Shalom Kakadash, double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule one who taught us the truth, and also peace and salutation to those who elect. Shalom.